Hi, I'm Stephen Hesketh, co-owner of Deva Fest, but also have or dabble in hotels as well.
My name's Phil Marston. I had a midlife crisis and created Deva Fest. And when I'm not messing around with festivals, I also run a property company.
So I think we should start at the beginning, the opening story of Deva Fest. So Phil, we'll hand that over to you. Let's keep it brief because we could be here all day.
What are you trying to say?
But so first of all, please tell us how you founded Deva Fest.
The short answer is I founded Deva Fest because I went to another festival and just felt that as a guest, I wasn't valued by being there. It was difficult to get to. The facilities were not great. The food wasn't amazing. The beer was warm. And I just thought, you've not really thought about me being here at all. And I thought we could do this so much better. So that's how Deva Fest was born. There was a pilot event first in 2018, but lots of that sort of carried over to the first Deva Fest in 2019, where we provided nice toilets, great food, free fairground rides, and the rest, as they say, hopefully is history.
Do you feel like Deva Fest is a different type of festival?
Absolutely. It's a very crowded festival space. There seems to be new festivals starting up and finishing all the time. And I guess everybody in life likes to think what they do is a bit different, but I really do think Deva Fest is very different because we've really gone to town to think about that guest experience. So everything from getting there, where we offer shuttle buses from all over the place so you can get there and enjoy your time with us, through to when you arrive. Obviously, we have nice toilets as standard. We include fairground rides as standard. And that gives children the freedom to enjoy themselves without having to come to the people that have brought them to the festival, asking for them to put their hands in the pockets all the time for another fiver and another tenner and this, that, the other. It gives them the freedom to go and enjoy the festival, which means then the people that brought them, mum and dad or whoever, can also enjoy their time. Because if the kids are happy, they're happy. Then throw in all the other things we have, like Chester Zoo, the Grand Cavalcade, all the entertainment, and obviously some world-class music. And it's a bit of everything. So I think somebody summed it up by saying the best. We've managed to combine a very sort of intimate experience with big name, stage, energy and vibes.
Steve, you obviously then bought into Deva Fest. Why did you buy into Deva Fest?
Look, I think everything Phil just said there, if I talk about my musical background, I would always go to theatre shows. I would go to, me and my wife are fortunate to go to Vegas every now and again, and we get to see artists in really nice, relaxed environments, as opposed to a big stadium or a festival that fills me with grief of being in mud and too close to a whole load of other people and all that type of stuff. And I was fortunate enough to go to Deva Fest for the first time, I think in 23.
Five.
And five. And not only did it surpass all my expectations in relation to it was comfortable, it was clean, simple stuff like the toilets, you didn't fear that you were going into God knows what, etc. are so important. And all of it had been thought of. And then the sort of icing on the cake was, as daft as it sounds, the fact that Richie from Five, and I'm not saying Five are the be-all and end-all, but the fact that as an artist, he was just walking around speaking and saying hello to the crowd. The fact I saw Phil, and yes, of course I knew Phil previously, but again, walking around, asking people, are you enjoying it? What was good? What artists? Just proved everything Phil's just said. He cared about it. You could see that there was real energy. And I think the artists coming along, and I said Richie, but there was a few, even the younger artists or the not so well-known artists, you could actually see and feel that they felt really proud to be somewhere where their fans were literally within reach. And actually it was a nice enough environment where they were never going to be mobbed and all that. They can have a general, what did you think? Did you like it? So I was sold on day one, I'll be honest with you. I think a few days after that, we may have spoke for the first time because I was just like bowled over at what the opportunity was. And then for me, it was like, gosh, this could really grow to something being massive and epic. And I think that year, what were your numbers that year for attendees?
That was our third year, and we had three and a half attendees
per day. So I just knew there was huge opportunity, and not that I knew the festival market well, but I also knew that it's such a hard game in relation to you've got to put, certainly from a cash flow point of view and certainly from a risk point of view, everything's on your shoulders at the start. And I've never felt that more so, obviously, since I've been involved. But, there's fun with that, there's stress with that, and there's everything in between. But I love what Phil's created. He, whilst always been a hotelier my whole life and understand events and bits and bobs, I think until you've done a festival, you've never done a festival. That's the reality of it. And it's been a real learning curve.
What do you feel like you've done differently at Deva Fest?
Well, we've been, as I say, I've been to a festival. I've been to festivals. Strange as it may sound, and it might sound a strange thing to say to somebody who's a director of a festival, I'm not a massive festival person for all the reasons that Stephen mentioned before. There's a preconception that things are not necessarily in your favour in terms of comfort, in terms of getting there, in terms of even down to the food and drink whilst you're there. And there are lots of festivals that do these things really, really well now. But from our perspective, I always say, look, if we were a supermarket, we'd be Waitrose or Marks and Spencer's, because we've really, really thought about that experience from start to finish. Because it's not difficult, anything in life, to stand there and say, right, if this was me and I was experiencing this, I'm staying in a hotel, if I'm eating in a restaurant, and to actually be the guest in that hotel or that restaurant and sit down and experience it gives you a whole different perspective for you then to sort of say, okay, well, look, the concept of a festival is what it is. There's music, there's stages, there's people, there's food, there's drink. That's all a given. You can't reinvent the wheel with all that sort of thing. But given my experience of going to these and what I am looking for in that event, how might we be able to do something differently? And that's, I think, the be-all and end-all of it. So we're always looking at this and thinking, we used to have a slogan, this is the festival built with you in mind. And that's really where that sort of sums it up, really. I mean, I'm of an age now where I don't want to go, up till 3 a.m. with mud and toilets with compost on and stuff. And that's great. And that's many people's sort of experience of festivals. But take a step back. YouGov figures, not mine. 1 in 2 adults has never been to a festival. And that's because they have the preconceptions that I just put in play there. So we are typically people's first festival. We're obviously very family friendly. 39% of people who come to the festival are under 18. So it's many families' first experience, and almost in this day and age as a staycation of spending time together and coming to a festival. So they can spend good quality family time, and they've never been to a festival. So if they've never been to a festival, they're going to ask lots of questions about how does the ticketing work? How do we get in? All that kind of thing. But we have set up Deva Fest to be a very accessible first event, the Waitrose, Marks and Spencer's of the festival world. Now, I make no apologies for that. We're not the cool kids. We're not Reading. We're not Leeds. And those are great festivals, but they cater for their audience. Our audience is families, typically coming to their first festival, and we've thought about their experience to make sure they're super comfortable with us and have a great time. And that's why we're coming at about 70% of people come back every year, which is a very, very high figure for a festival.
Look, I think it goes without saying what Phil has built over the years is some great relationships as well. That the team at ICO deliver fantastic beverage services. You are literally drinking pints pulled in front of you, etc. As opposed to, and they're cold. And they're cold, exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. I was just about to say that the couple of festivals I've now started to go to experience other festivals, to give us ideas, etc., has just reiterated to us how good our festival is, because the last one I was at, I was literally sat there drinking a warm cider. It was just terrible. So we take all that for granted. We take the effort and the energy that Phil, Anna, and the team go into to really siphon out who are our food traders. Are they local? Are they good quality? Is there a real mix that not everyone's a burger van and all that type of stuff? So again, as Phil stressed, and sometimes I think it's really hard to get the message across that we are the Waitrose, the Marks and Spencer's of the festival world, because we want people to come and sample it for the first time. We want people to have that safety net of feeling, do you know what? It is somewhere I can go and not feel as though it's a car crash. It's got the safety net of good quality food, good services, again, a safe environment. The big thing, again, that sold to me on day one when I first went, and subsequently since I've gone, is, and a lot of people have said it to me, is that, when you've got kids of a young age, that you haven't got to watch their every movement, you feel safe. And that's a massive, important word in this world right now, safe. And that's what Deva Fest does. It really has a beautiful, safe feel to it, etc. and that's not to say you don't watch your kids, obviously, but in a family environment, what better place that for, 3.5 days, you've got an environment where it's just so relaxed, so nice. And generally safe, we've got a great security team 24/7. There's so many positives. I think, look, you go back to the thing that I think is Phil's je ne sais quoi, if there's such a thing. It's that choice of music. The thought, this year to have a back in the day tent is arguably my era, that type of scenario where, Judge Jules, these type of guys, Segala, all this type of stuff that you can reminisce in comfort, etc. Yet, actually, then you go to the mainstream. What better acts can you get in the UK right now than Jessie J, Ronan Keating, James Morrison? That guilty pleasure of, oh God, I've just had a brain freeze of, all I keep thinking is going to Ibiza. The Venga Boys, Boys.
We have Symphonic Ibiza as well. His favourite is the Venga Boys.
So I think when you think, why would I book a festival? You would probably first and foremost go, well, who are the acts? So we're not stupid. The acts have a big pull in relation to are people going to book. So that in itself actually helps persuade who's going to come, because a big whole group of women that are coming to see Ronan Keating makes sense, isn't it? So you're going to get a nice group of maybe people that haven't got children, but they're a group of 30 plus women that are coming to literally just see Ronan for the weekend and made a weekend of it.
It's all about making the festival accessible, because, as I said before, families will come. They've never been to a festival. It's their first festival. But it's not just families. As I said, if it's 39% of children, there's obviously the balance of not children. Some of them will be parents and people with the children. But we get plenty of people who come without children. And one of my favourite ever Deva Fest memories was 2022, the year we had Sophie Ellis-Bextor. We actually had an all-female main stage, which I was very proud of. And Sophie Ellis-Bextor turned up, and she, like Richie from Five, walked around the field, met everybody, posed for selfies. She was lovely. She was wonderful. But my favourite memory, that was the year when it was, like today, 35 degrees all weekend. You might say I had it to lose, but I lost 2 stone in 3 days. And I remember there were 2 ladies who, shall we say, of more advancing years, wearing welly boots. The ground is rock hard. It's not rained for a month. It's 35 degrees, and they were wearing welly boots and cowboy hats. And they came over and stopped me and said, we've seen you on the social. Because at the time, and I might bring this back, we used to do a thing called the wellyometer, where we'd go on, because people wear wellies to festivals. And obviously, if you've never been to a festival before, the big question you're going to get in the run-up is, do I need my wellies? So we'd have the wellyometer, where I would jump up and down on the festival field to show whether you needed wellies on them. He said, you're the man that did the wellyometer. And I said, yeah, and I told you not to bring them. He goes, well, we did anyway. So we've never been to a festival ever, and it's been on our bucket list. Thank you so much for having a great time. And that sort of sums it up. You've got families, of course, they've not been, but you've got people who never thought they'd go to a festival. It's been on their bucket list. And let's let the cat out of the bag here. Selling a festival is not an easy thing because of those preconceptions. So we have to break down the fact that you can get here easily. You will be comfortable. The food and drink is amazing. There are all these things included. We do have a VIP area with comfy sofas. So, we can make you as comfortable as we can in a field. And then that attracts people who it's always been on the bucket list, but they've always sort of peered over the wall and thought, what's on the other side? I'll go and try a festival. So that memory is probably the one I will go to the grave with as my favourite Deva Fest memory, with those 2 ladies wearing their welly boots. It's like, I told you not to wear them. And it was lovely. It was just lovely to see.
That's your takeaway moment.
I'll let you answer that first, since you had the experience in 23.
Yeah, I mean, I think each year there's definitely a moment where you go, this is great. I remember sitting there listening to Dream, and a huge song of mine, and it's the Tony Blair song for, Things Can Only Get Better. But actually, when you stood there looking at the crowd, listening to that song that has personal fond memories for me, it just resonated to me that, wow, look at what I've been a part of creating. And again, Phil very much leads on Deva Fest. I sit in the background, but there's still no better feeling than that feeling of going, wow, look at what's happening. So for me last year, it was that moment. I think the year before, we all sort of sat down, I think on the Sunday afternoon about 6 o'clock in Club Deva, which I think was its first year as well. So possibly that part of it didn't gel as well as it now is starting to gel, etc. But again, for that being my, real full impact year, again, just that moment of sitting with the team, and there was, numerous contractors that are really our team, etc. Certainly for that period, was again just a real nice moment where you raised a glass and said, well done, because you weren't quite at the end because you still had another few hours to go, but you definitely could feel the sense of achievement of what was done, and from security to the car parking gang to one or two of the traders that we know personally closely, etc. Just a magical moment of real team, because actually throughout the year it's a conversation between me, Phil, and Anna. Really, it's not a big team day to day at all. When you get to the festival, it's like on speed, because all of a sudden all these people come out of nowhere and you've pulled together a festival. So that first year was that team session. I think now as we progress, it'll be more moments like the dream moment where, I don't know, the song captures you. You see how much the audience is enjoying it. It's a moment for you. We're there with our families, our friends, etc. Yeah, I think there's a lot of magical moments, but they're specifically important to me.
I think from my perspective, people always say, do you enjoy it? And I always say, I'll enjoy the last song that Jessie J sings on Sunday, because then we know the weekend's gone well, everybody's enjoyed themselves, we can look to build for another year. But, make no sort of bones about the fact that it's a very difficult thing to run as it gets bigger and bigger. There's more and more sort of content, things that gravitate towards us, and the organisational, we're not a team of 20, 30, 40 people. There's, I'd say 1.5 people, but it really is 2, myself and Anna, sort of day to day, looking after things. But if somebody said to me, as you had your D-Ream moment with things starting to get better, I think the real sort of moment I stood back and thought, okay, this is good, was when we were staging the Human League in 2024. We'd got a big new stage. It was set out to the Human League specification, which was pretty epic in terms of things like video screens, lighting, etc., etc. And that was the first time I thought, well, look, this sort of mad idea almost looks like a stadium concert. There's such an impressive audio-visual spectacle in front of us. The Human League had turned up with a van of costume changes. Phil Oakey got changed about 3 times during the show. Was very chatty during the show, and I'd seen him before. And perhaps I'd like to think he was more chatty with us because of the show and the fact that we're an independent festival, which isn't the easiest thing to run. And that I think some of the artists are rooting for us, and they come along and think, right, these guys have really got skin in the game. I mean, Matt Goss last year on the main stage sort of made, and it's a little bit embarrassing, but made everybody sort of like say, look, you need to appreciate what these guys are doing for you here. And it's not easy. And I know our audience doesn't take it for granted. As we run up to the show, I always have a little bit of imposter syndrome. And we're there now, we're a month away. And you start to think, well, can we really do all this again? Can we really pull it off again? Can it be even better than last year? And even if it means Anna and I don't get any sleep for the next month, we'll do our level best. And we probably won't. We'll do our level best to make sure it's absolutely a step up again from what we've got before. And we have more of those pinch me moments. It's nice that you mentioned that sort of thing we do on a Sunday afternoon, because that's actually a Deva Fest tradition. We've been doing that ever since we opened in 2019. The key people behind it, whether it's security, whether it's the staging guys, whoever, LFX, who manage the show for us so well, we all get together about 6 o'clock on that Sunday and say, just switch your radios off for 20 minutes, half an hour. Look at what we've achieved. Look at all these people having a great time, hopefully in the sunshine. I've ordered it again. And just take a moment to reflect, because blinking, you've missed it. You're open on Thursday and it's Sunday night. There's operational challenges. You're dealing with tens of thousands of people. There's going to be, but fortunately nothing that's ever too serious. It's just logistical things, and like the fact that somebody built the shop in the wrong place the last year, which stopped half the people getting into a campsite. These things happen. It was all marked out. The guy decided when nobody was looking, I'll just build it in a totally different place entirely. So we're going to stop one of the rows of traffic that should have got to the campsites getting in. That won't happen again. You learn as well. And the minute you open, you learn, you think, we could have done that differently. That might have been, we could change that. And we're always learning and we're always thinking. But the real pinch me moment for me was the Human League. You might say the follow-on for that was we had Gloria Gaynor last year, and when she sang I Will Survive, which is one of the most iconic songs on the planet, and the anticipation building up to that. She's 81. It was her only UK show. And that, again, in the industry as much as anything else, people go, oh my God, you had the Human League, you had Gloria Gaynor, and all the other great acts we've got. And this year, people are saying again, you've got Ronan Keating, you've got Jessie J. Wow. You know, it's really going only one direction. Can't get them. Sorry. I know you like your pop. But, you know, aside from that, those pinch me moments, I think, will only get better.
Yeah,
but the Sunday, when we're all there, and if you do see us, if you're listening to this, if you do see us about 6 o'clock in Club Deva, having a beer, just ignore us for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What hidden gems do you think there are at Deva Fest?
Look, for me, I think the food is always a hidden surprise, because actually I think we're very fortunate to get some great traders, and it's an important part for people. People love to be able to taste, especially over 3.5 days. You've got a real eclectic mix. So that's a nice hidden one. For me, one of the surprise acts, and I don't have young children anymore, but Super Pirates just are phenomenal. They're just untapped, talented, great. The kids just have a ball.
Mad, but in a good way.
Yeah. Just really, it was a hidden surprise for me. But again, I think Phil just does such a good job, from, dog shows to vintage cars. There's just such an eclectic. I think there's something for everybody. And this year, I'm not letting any surprises out of the bag. It's just getting better and better from that side of things. So I generally think they hit the nail on the head. And why are we growing so nicely and so successfully is due to the fact that there's real effort and energy put into almost what I would call those unhidden surprises, because I think people turn up thinking, okay, we're gonna see some good acts. Well, there's an expectation we should get some good foods, and that the services now, I think, people go,
we need to mention
get
lumberjacks at this point, surely.
Again, I wasn't going to let anyone out of the bag for this year, but lumberjacks are good mates of mine, and they do a fantastic job, and to get them cooking live for us this year will be fantastic, and I think it'll be a real treat for everybody to see. But there generally is so many. I actually think just walking Chomley is bloody beautiful. We're so blessed to be in such an amazing estate, and the backdrop of the castle. I still love putting a picture, whether it be on my socials or whatever, of that castle at night with Deva Fest in front of it. It's just a priceless picture for me. That
I'm going to give you two. I sound like David Brandt. I'll give you two and another one if you need it. The new one, which is at the top of Wonderland. So we have Wonderland this year. That's not because that's going to be obvious, but that's like themed around Alice in Wonderland as we try and grow our identity. Obviously, Alice in Wonderland's a big Cheshire sort of mainstay. So we've got Alice's Parlour, where we've got Oddfellows, and I have to give that a plug because my wife obviously runs it, but they're doing Alice's Parlour. But at the top of that field, this is my hidden bet, which is, and we're not going to go gung-ho with the signage for this, but we've got the Back in the Daytime big top, which is new. So we've got Seb Fontaine, we've got Clint Boone from the Inspiral Carpets, who did our Deva Fest opening and sort of party and played 2 hours of absolute indie bangers. So I'm really looking forward to that. We've got a mystery set. We've got all sorts of stuff going on up there. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But as far as sort of family entertainment is concerned, something that's come back, I think now for the 4th year, is the Grand Cavalcade. And the Grand Cavalcade is it's a bunch of, I was going to call them lunatics, and that's not very fair, because if they hear this, they might go, that's not very fair, Phil, don't call us that. But Gakko and guys, if you're listening, you are lunatics. They do, it's all about science experiments, comedy, music, and they have the magic teapot, and you all sit in there and you're thoroughly entertained all day long. And it's incredibly family friendly. There's sing-alongs, there's all sorts of, and the funny thing was, we've just been recommended again by National Geographic magazine as one of the best family friendly festivals in the UK. Here's that phrase again. But they're on every single festival, they're like, hidden thing to find. And theirs was the Grand Cavalcade. So maybe they listen to me, or maybe I listen to them. But yeah, we like to think around every corner, there's something a little bit different and something for you to discover, which is why when the site plan goes live in the next couple of days, we don't put literally every single thing on there, because if you're going between the main attractions, the rest of it's a nice surprise. I think when I very first founded Deva Fest, we started getting, you don't necessarily think of the consequences of your actions, do you? And I started getting lots of, well, that could be true of lots of angles with Deva Fest, but started getting a lot of emails from local artists saying, can we perform? And it just felt right to give people a forum, a stage where they could show their artistry. And I think the perfect example of that is Guitar Ollie. Ollie Pearson, who formed with us, shall we say, before he was famous. He did a set in the Wrexham Lager Big Top, smashed it out the ballpark. Next year, it came fourth on Britain's Got Talent. So you look and think, actually, what we do can really make a difference for people to have, a voice and to be discovered. I mean, this year we've got 6 stages: the Sailor's Rest, the Cheshire Cat stage, and the Wrexham Lager Big Top. All feature a degree of local artists, as does the main stage. If I'm going to be honest, the Bartels are from Shropshire, just down the road. We've had Nick Haggart play on there. He's from Chester. But when I look at some of the bands playing on the Cheshire Cat stage and on those stages, there's a band called The Voke who won a battle of the bands to come back. And there are agents I know who are coming to Deva Fest. And I do have a chat with those agents and say, go and have a look at X, Y, and Z. So without letting too many cats out the bags, I know that there are agents this year coming to the festival to look at some of the bands that we've booked where we've heard such good things that, something may come of that, something may not. And I'm not going to sit here and claim the credit for Guitar Ollie, for Ollie Pearson, because that's his wonderful parents who, and he's coming back and doing his 3rd show with us this year on the main stage. This year he's bringing dancers, so that's going to be good. And he does the most amazing Guns N' Roses. You close your eyes, listen. It could be Slash. He did the flash mob in Paris to Bohemian Rhapsody. It's got tens of millions of views. The kid is immensely talented, and we're just proud to be part of that journey that he's taken.
What's your elevator pitch to them to buy tickets?
Don't give them a discount code.
Look, I think, if that could be answered effortlessly, me and Phil would sleep a lot easier. I don't think we can do any more. Social Tap and the team do a great job at showing people from our previous events how great the festival is. We are so fortunate to have so many customers that have gone on and given us, real life, for a better word, recommendations. We've been very fortunate to have a lot of influencers over the last couple of years also visit and again express how wonderful and how surprising everything is. And I don't think you can say any more than that, really. The festival is just phenomenal. I truly, I would not have got involved if I didn't think this was something that just wows the socks off people, and it really does. And hence, this year is huge growth. And yes, of course, the bigger acts, you would argue you would expect that growth, but actually, and we can say this for a fact, before we'd even announced the guests, the amount of people that had rebooked before any name was announced was gobsmacking. It was phenomenal, and that's when you know you've got something right. So for me, people just come and see it. I mean, truly, the camping experience is second to none. But we do day tickets as well. But for me, if you want to experience Deva Fest in its full authenticity, come and camp. But for those that maybe aren't that brave and just want to sample the first taster of a festival, then come and experience a day.
And the day guests do end up camping the next year. Typically, they buy for the day. It's almost like a try before you buy. Come for the day this year. Come for the week next time, sort of thing. The growth in camping has been quite significant this year, to the point where we've introduced a new campsite, the Longhorn Meadow, and the Deer Park, which was once upon a time in 2023 our only campsite. In 2025 it sold out. For 2026 it sold out within a month. So I would probably expect when we go back out on sale, which will be the Thursday after the festival this year, as a bit of a plug, we think the Deer Park may well sell out in one day, and we're trying to work out how we actually give access to that campsite to the people who've always been in it. Because if we just let it on general release, we feel we have a social media account on Facebook called the Deva Fest Family, and we do see the people who come as family. We see the same people, the Cow family, obviously every year, who came and grabbed me at Reminisce. But joking aside, we're seeing people bring in more and more friends and family, and it's just trying to accommodate everybody fairly so they can get the campsites they were always used to be in.
Do you want to give a quick elevator pitch?
Just bloody book.
Apple Pay is really easy. One click and you're in. One click and you're in. Look, we've nearly sold out this year, and we've never been anywhere near that. Yeah. So clearly, the biggest advocates for Deva Fest, I could sit here and tell you how brilliant it is Steve can sit here and tell you how brilliant it is. And you might think, don't like the look of them. They look shifty. I don't believe them. Go and talk to somebody who's been.
Yeah.
And if somebody who's been doesn't recommend us, we can't be all things to all people. If you go to Reading and Leeds, one or two people might go, yeah, I didn't like Deva Fest. There are too many kids running around. You haven't really, it's not for you. That's fair enough. I'd like to think 95% of people who came to our festival last year said they'd recommend us. We have a 98% approval rating on Meta, something very similar with Google reviews. So I think the proof of the pudding is that people come and really, really enjoy it. So it's one of those ones that I sometimes say to our social media team, I'm not sure you'd buy tickets for Deva Fest unless you'd actually been there, experienced it, and realised how intoxicating it is, but in a really, really positive way, how relaxed it is, the vibe, the whole atmosphere, the thoughtfulness. And then those people are going, yeah, I'm never going anywhere else. And in some ways, you can say, shh, don't tell anybody, because we've nearly sold out. And next year, the festival will be a similar capacity, and it could sell out very, very quickly. Because what we don't want to do is start going, let's add 5,000, 10,000 people more a year. That's not Deva Fest. It'll be something completely different. And all those people who've supported us on those journey, I think we'd be letting them down if we suddenly doubled and trebled the size of it, which, given the artists we're booking and the reputation of the festival, could happen. But we want to make sure we preserve it. So if you're on that fence, give it a try. You won't be disappointed.
Favourite food stall?
Foxxy Foods. It's fantastic.
Flying,
Best rise going.
flying fillet, brilliant steak.
Booked.
Well, I was about to say I'm genuinely looking forward to Jessie J. I'm a big Jessie J fan. But I was gobsmacked by 5. Dream, obviously, as I've already mentioned. But even a couple of the earlier in the day quiet ones, we had, oh gosh, I can't remember her name now, the country girl that was on.
Which day was that?
Last year.
I think it was last year. Yeah, I get them all mixed up.
I know who you mean. I can't remember.
She was fantastic, but also the
Harley Moon Kemp.
Harley Moon Kemp. Yeah, she was fantastic.
Martin Kemp's daughter.
But the Amy Winehouse.
They were brilliant. Amy Winehouse band.
Were absolutely
Well, that's
fantastic.
Amy Winehouse's actual band as well. That's the thing. People say, I really like the Amy Winehouse tribute. It's not a tribute. Obviously, we can't have the real Amy Winehouse, but the the father, Mitch, personally approved all that and personally signed off on the singer. So it's the closest thing you're going to get to what is one of the most epic singers the country's produced in a long time. So yeah, that was pretty special.
That was fantastic, yeah.
For me, strangely, I really enjoyed Star Sailor in 2023, showing my indie roots. And I'm really looking forward to Ronan Keating, but obviously I also love the Human League, who are a band I've sort of grown up. I'm old enough now in my 50s to remember just about when Don't You Want Me Baby was released. And if you could have said to me like 40 years later, you're going to book them for a festival, I'd have said you were mad. And, the fact that they wanted to come and perform at our festival and gave such a brilliant performance is still one of the things I'm most proud of about the festival. But yeah, Human League, Star Sailor.
I think there was one occasion, you see it on social every now and again, that Phil dancing on stage was also a particular highlight.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because Stretch and Red are coming back this year and they need somebody else for their dance-off.
There you go.
And I believe, a little dicky bird tells me, you're training in dance at the minute for a certain event.
Yeah, I'm training. That's exactly right.
Part of your training may well continue in...
Who knows? Twinkle Toes, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't Twinkle Toes with me, it was Thunder Thighs, but there we go.
Which of the big 3, we'll call them, are you most looking forward to?
The 3 of them are fantastic. I mean, again, on the QT, James Morrison is again somebody that you just know his tunes, you just know his voice. It's just so good, and he may very well be overshadowed by Ronan and Jessie J, but I think he'll knock it out of the park. I think we'll all be surprised at how amazing he is.
I'm really looking forward to Ronan Keating. Might be a bit of a secret Boyzone fan. You never know. Can you imagine me in a boy band flipping out?
A camper or a glamper?
Glamping for me.
Glamping.
What one thing you think that every first timer to Deva Fest should bring with them?
Sun cream.
Yeah, good shout.
I spend the entire festival with my colouring. People go, are you wearing sun cream? Of course I'm not.
Yeah, sun cream is a big one.
The most underrated thing?
I'm going to say the lineup, strangely, because people have said that to us before. This might be, we've always booked. I could sit here and reel off 30 bands people have heard of, from 5 through to, we've had The Feeling, we've had Human League, Glory Gaynor, Star Sailor, Feeder, Ocean Colour Scene, Happy Mondays, The Coral, and I just don't think people expect that, given what the festival is and what it gives the guests. And as I say, we had this brilliant review where somebody said they've managed to combine big stage names with that intimate community feel. So I actually think, and I'll finish off by that by saying, we get people probably once a week going, are these the real acts? They're not tributes, are they? Well, if it was Jessie J and it was a tribute, we'd have to probably call her Jossie J or something. Anna and I spend many fun afternoons, thinking of tribute bands, Oasis and all that kind of stuff, and Don Jovi and all that kind of thing. They are the real bands, with the exception of the Foo Fighters with a Z. But we do clearly state that's not the real Foo Fighters.
I couldn't agree more with Phil. I suppose the other thing that I think is, certainly from a cost point of view, is the inclusion of fairground rides from a family point of view and a cost point of view is just so understated, because that is 11 hours of opportunity to pop on a ride with, in comparison to most festivals, 6, 7, 8 quid a pop. It's phenomenal. That's I think one of our absolutely understated wows, certainly for the family market.
Describe DevaFest in 3 words.
Family, great music.
That's more than 3.
Music, and just relaxed. Relaxed, lovely. There's a number of words really, but yeah, wholesome.
I'm going to misappropriate our slogan: music, family, love.
Yeah. Nicely said. They're mine too.
You can't row back on that.
Well, obviously, devafest.co.uk, get on there and book. I think the only thing to finish off is and I say this for everybody involved, we've got to be so thankful to our customers, because they actually are the final secret ingredient that we have, that the buzz that you get and the people you meet there who are, your fellow punters, is a real magical touch as well. And to see kids playing with other kids and all that type of stuff, we underestimate how people bring people and make people feel like people. And that's really important in this day and age. So I think that's a real hidden one. So just thank you to everyone that has supported us, continues to support us. And for those that are about to book after this podcast, thanks for booking with us.
I can only reiterate what Stephen's just said. I mean, this has been one heck of a journey. We've been going since 2019. We've had all sorts of challenges thrown at us. We're still here. The audience really seems to love what we're doing. It's growing every year, that DevaFest family. And to them, it wouldn't be the festival without them. Thank you so much. And we know that life's not easy in 2026 with all that's going on in the world, cost of living and what have you. And for people to trust us with their hard-earned money, that they'll come and have a great staycation with us, and know that we'll do our damn best to entertain them. And we really do care. We're an independent festival. We know people have a choice. We're incredibly and eternally grateful that they put that trust in us, and we'll continue to reward that, hopefully, with providing brilliant festivals for them.